Hello, my name is Jessica Kane, and for my project, I researched Richard Chase, nicknamed the Vampire of Sacramento. I'm in the class Criminology, instructed by Professor Hall, and I'm doing this presentation to inform people that are interested in murder cases that are involved in the criminal justice system. So, background of Richard Chase. So, he grew up in Santa Clara, California, and he was known to have already shown strange traits growing up as a young kid. So he exhibited 3 traits in the McDonald triad: bedwetting, arson, and cruelty to animals. And so he was also known to use drugs as a young teen, which could also be a part of why he ended up being the person that he is. So after Chase started to go down the path of negativity, his father kicked him out of the house, and he was forced to move into an apartment with some of his friends. And his friends ended up seeing how he was, and they moved out. And once they moved out, he would steal animals and murder them, and then he would mix them in drinks and drink the animals. So, life of crime, why? So, Richard Chase was born into a very strict family. His father was physically abusive towards him, which led him to have to take antidepressant pills because he was depressed because of his father abusing him. And he began to abuse alcohol and start fires and steal animals still. And he could not feel sexual feelings unless he was using practices like necrophilia and animal murder. And he began having delusions after his father kicked him out, and he began eating raw animals after this. So, committed crimes. So, nicknamed the Vampire of Sacramento, Richard Chase drank the blood of his victims to help a delusion that he had that the Nazis were going to switch his blood out with powder. And Chase was on his rampage between the years 1978 and 1979. Chase murdered 6 people in his time. One of his murders was a person named Teresa Wallen. Richard ambushed her, shot her in the head, and then drank her blood and then filled her mouth with dog feces. Methods of capture. So after his final murder, he was a messy murderer and left evidence behind. He broke into a family's home and killed the family, and to finish it off, he stole the father's body, ate his brain, and then drank his blood and disposed of his body at a nearby church, which is a reason why the cops ended up finding him. And the police searched his apartment after finding this body, and they found the rest of his victims in his apartment. Justice. So due to his last murder, he was captured and then sent to jail. The police then found out about his earlier murders and believed it would be safer for the people to send him to jail. The police believed that this was only the beginning of his killing spree and needed to put him to justice for his actions, because it is not fair for the normal people out there to have to live with people that they're scared of that are going to come into their house and kill them. Punishment. After being sentenced to jail, Richard Chase was sentenced to death in prison by doing so in a gas chamber. But in jail, he became depressed, and they prescribed him 2 depression pills, and he ended up stocking up on them and overdosing on them in prison before his trial date. Opinion of circumstances. So I believe that the police handled this in the correct way. It is very wrong what he was doing, and the police showed great courage in protecting the people from someone that could be very harmful towards them. They did what needed to happen in the situation of a murder, especially one in this range. 2 theories that correspond with this is the rational choice theory and the trait theory. The rational choice theory is about the personal traits and situations for the person that has been in. The trait theory is entirely about motivated, inborn biological urges to survive. So these both correspond to the situation, because Chase believed that he was being sabotaged by the Nazis and his blood was going to be changed with powder. Okay, so all in all, I think that the police handled this in an orderly fashion. They cannot do much with people that have these imbalances in their brain, so it is better for them to put them away and just protect the people in the community. I think this is also important for people to hear, because it's a lot about childhood, so nurture and nature. If a child is raised in a harsh environment, most likely they will become harsh and just carry on that same life that they've been living. So I think people should learn that they need to raise their children in a nurturing environment so that their child grows up and can live in the community without causing these issues. Thank you.